Unlock the secret to financial freedom, a beginner's guide to real estate investing. Are you tired of feeling lost when it comes to investing in real estate? In this video, we'll show you how to get started, even if you have no experience and don't have the slightest clue where to begin. We're going to be going over some of the basic do's and don'ts when you're going to buy your first property, important points you have to have on your checklist, and if you stick around till the end, we'll be talking about different types of lenders and creative ways you can structure a good deal. If this is something you find of value, it would really help the channel if you would give us a like and hit the subscribe button so you can see more videos we will be bringing to you. Thank you for your support, and let's jump right into it. When you decide you're ready to buy your first property, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of this purchase? Many people go into buying their first property thinking they have to buy their dream home, or that for some reason, they're going to be stuck living in that property for many years. And that's not necessarily true. Two of the best strategies to start in the real estate game are to buy a property that needs some work, fix it up and resell it as a flip, or buy a multifamily property with 2, 3, or 4 units and live in one while you rent the others. Which of these strategies is best for you? That depends on your specific needs. So here are the pros and cons of each of those strategies. With the flip, the good thing is that you buy something at a discount, repair all the damages and remodel to bring it up to date, and then turn around and put it on the market at a higher price, making a decent profit on the resale. If you've never had any experience remodeling or dealing with contractors, this might be a little challenging. So make sure you don't start with a really complicated rehab or a property where you're going to have to gut everything, do structural work, changes in floor plan, or anything major like that. Stick to something that only requires minor repairs, cosmetic improvements, paint, and minor touch-ups for your first flip. That way, you won't get overwhelmed with your first project, and you'll be able to have the experience of getting quotes for different jobs, become familiar with different types of materials, and learn about the day-to-day issues on a construction site. There is a slight learning curve, but if you like solving problems and making things happen, it's a really rewarding experience. We'll go over all the details of the numbers you want to be looking for and a more in-depth analysis of flipping properties in another video. But just keep in mind, you don't want to jump into the pool headfirst in the deep end without any floaties if you don't know how to swim. So start simple, know your numbers, and know your market. The other strategy you might want to consider is buying a multifamily property with up to 4 units so you can live in one while the other units produce cash flow for you in rental income. This strategy could be better suited for anyone that isn't very interested in dealing with the ins and outs of rehabbing a property and all the issues that come up on a flip, from the moment you start the project all the way until the moment you finally close the sale. If you're somebody that already has a very demanding job, or have a family and kids and need to live in the place that you're going to buy, or you just don't have too much free time on your hands, then maybe a multifamily property is a better fit for you so you can generate income from rents more passively. Once you've considered which type of property best suits your strategy, the first thing you want to do is get pre-qualified with the bank before you go out and see properties. You could also consider other types of loans, which we'll talk about in a moment, like private money lenders or hard money lenders. But if you don't have a mortgage right now, and you can buy this as your primary residence, you might want to consider an FHA loan if you qualify for it, or talk to your banker about the alternatives they can offer you. When you speak to your lender, they will consider 3 very important aspects: your income, your debt, and your credit score. It's very important that you keep in mind that in order to qualify for a traditional loan with a bank, you need to work on your credit score before you get to this point, and that your taxes show you make enough net income to be able to pay this loan. The bank will need to see 1 or 2 years of your returns, and there are also some differences whether you're an employee or an independent contractor. In some cases, you might want to sacrifice certain tax write-offs for 1 or 2 years. Talk to your lender, CPA, or accountant about your particular case. And remember, this is not financial advice and is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. So make sure you find out exactly what works best for you and your situation. Warning: don't buy a car, take out new credit cards, or any type of loans right before buying a property, because that could seriously lower your buying power and tie up part of your available credit, depending on your particular case. Also, don't make strange deposits in your bank account because these raise red flags for the banks. So avoid anything that might look like money laundering or any suspicious money movements. If you're buying a distressed property with the intention of living in it, even if you eventually resell it later on as a long-term flip, you might consider an FHA 203K loan, which covers the purchase price of the property and repairs. Keep in mind that they will pay only for the necessary repairs, not all the cosmetic updates you might want to do. For example, they'll pay for a regular kitchen if there's no kitchen installed, but they won't pay for a high-end countertops or those fancy finishes and details you would like. Make sure you also shop around with different banks for the best interest rates and terms that they can offer. If for some reason you don't qualify for a regular loan with the bank, that's not the end of the line for you. You could consider talking to private or hard money lenders about asset-based loans in which they don't really care about you or your buying power, but rather the potential of the property itself. The interest rates will be higher and the terms might not always be the best for you, but if you find the right deal, you will definitely find the money to fund it with no problem. If you're starting out, you could also consider doing a joint venture with other investors, where they might even get a cut of part of your deal, but you'll get the experience of making that happen and see it through from start to finish. Ideally, you want to structure the financing as a loan, but in some cases, you have to share a little bit of the cake so everybody can eat. Now, let me ask you this. Who do you know that actually has some money? You might be able to get a loan from a family member, a friend, or someone you know that has money and trusts you. Make sure you always structure the loan appropriately with clear terms, interest rates, payments, amortization table, and all the standard terms and legalities that may be required in your area. Make sure to talk to an attorney in that market that knows about structuring these kinds of deals and knows about real estate. Once you have all these points set, it's time to look for a good deal. There are many different techniques we use in real estate investing, and we'll get into those in more details on a separate video. But just to give you a general idea, you should talk to real estate agents in that area that you're interested in to get their feedback about prices, trends, and learn all you can about your market. Drive around the areas you like. Talk to investors and wholesalers also. They can give you a different perspective from real estate agents. Once you find something you like, make an offer. You can start with a lowball and see what happens, but that depends on how hot that market is at the moment. If you really love the property or it has great potential, you might need to reconsider your numbers if you don't get that super lowball offer you made. But if the numbers work and you can make it happen, you might have a deal on your hands. Always have more than one exit strategy, even if it's going to be your primary residence for now. Consider if you ever have to resell it in the future, what your numbers would look like. Or if you had to rent it, what would those numbers look like? You'll never get a 100% perfect deal, so be flexible. Another important point is to always do inspections. You want to make sure you have a professional go through the property and give you a detailed report of all the problems it might have that you weren't even aware of. You could get credit at closing for these, or have the seller make some repairs before the sale. Take contractors that can give you ideas and bids for the repairs during your inspection period. That way, you know what it's really going to take to repair it. If you have no idea what something is worth, you should get between 3 and 5 quotes to know what is market value. You don't always have to go with the cheapest one, and sometimes that's not the best one either. So make sure you put everything on a balance when you consider quality, cost, and speed of delivery. Always add a buffer of 10 to 15% over the budget in case unexpected things happen, which they usually do, especially if you're starting out and you're not sure about your prices and numbers yet. After you go all the way down this winding and slippery slide with its twists and turns and an endless supply of adrenaline and excitement, congratulations, you made it! You finally closed your first deal and bought your first property. Now it's time to start the repairs as soon as possible, especially the major ones before you move in. No time to dilly-dally, especially if you're still paying rent somewhere else while you rehab if you're going to move into it. If you bought a multifamily instead, make sure you rent out the other units as soon as you can to start generating cash flow. Every day counts. Every minute counts. You want to make sure you move as quickly and diligently as you can to get everything done ASAP. Once you're ready to put your new property or units on the market, you might want to consider doing it through a real estate agent or broker if you don't have any experience in this. They will also provide you with the right contracts so you can be covered. You can always do a for sale by owner or rent the units on your own, depending on your market. We've learned over time and with years of experience that many times it's better to pay the professionals. Once you close the sale or rent the units, it's time to do it again. Rinse and repeat. If it was a flip, now you have more money for your next project. If you bought a rental, now you have steady cash flow every month, and you might even have positioned yourself so you're not even paying anything out of pocket for housing. Rather, it's your tenants that are paying down your mortgage. You might want to consider establishing an LLC or whatever type of entity best works for you for your real estate investments. A good rule of thumb is that you should only hold one property under your name, and that should be your primary residence, in which you will typically have your long-term loan with a traditional mortgage and enjoy the other benefits of being a homeowner. All the other purchases should be done through your entity or different entities. You should definitely talk to your attorney and accountant about what's the right corporate structure for you, and, more importantly, ask them if they see this video when you share it with them, and make sure they hit the like and subscribe buttons also. Check out our next video for more valuable content like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.